Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Thomas.
Hi, David.
First things first, how are you? Are you feeling fully recovered from what you've been through the last few weeks?
Yeah, thank you for asking. Yes, I feel fine. I was privileged to only have mild symptoms for more or less 2 days after that. I've been fine, so bit bored. But I'm probably good just to refresh and because I was so privileged to only have mild symptoms. So yeah, all good. Thank you.
And just give us an idea of how difficult it's been. There was an outbreak in the squad. The training ground had to shut. How much does that affect your preparations? Do you almost have to start from scratch again?
That's maybe a little bit too much, but I agree. It did affect definitely. I think you could see that in the second half against Luton. We started very, very sharp, fresh, intense, but after more or less 55 minutes, completely lack of energy. And, this is top trained athletes that are ready to get their body going at a maximum level 2 times a week. And of course, training in between. And of course, they didn't only lie on their sofa the last week where the training ground was closed. So they were out running, following programs, doing the stability training they could do from home and stuff like that. But because they didn't have that maximum load, you can't just repeat it. So that was definitely affecting us. So we were pleased that we still got over the line and got 3 points. And I spoke to Nathan Jones from Luton, and he said it was exactly the same for them against QPR. They felt that couldn't get the body going. So now we hope this should be fine.
Turning our attention then to tomorrow's game. Obviously, you played Spurs in the semi-finals of the League Cup as well. And Jose Mourinho said before and after that game that he was treating you like a Premier League side because he'd seen you play and he thinks you're a Premier League side in waiting. When you play these top Premier League sides, is it a chance to measure yourself against them? See where you are?
Yeah, definitely. We all of us, players, coaching staff, directors, everyone like to compete and as you say, challenge ourselves against the best team in Premier League, and that means in the world. That's something we really enjoy going into with a big belief that we can do a difference. So yeah, we're really looking forward to the game tomorrow against the Leicester side that have done amazingly this season again. I think under Brendan Rodgers and his coaching staff have done a top job the last 2 seasons. And I think it was very, very now they just missed out on the top 4, which is the big positions in Premier League. We all know that for the Champions League. And now they're competing for top 4 again. Some will say for the championship. So that's amazing.
And their star performer at the moment seems to be James Maddison, who everything seems to go through. And he gave an interview earlier in the week where he came across extremely well as well. What are your thoughts when you watch James Maddison, when you analyse his game? What are your thoughts on him?
I think he's one of the top players in England, I must say. He got a bit of everything. He can assist, he can keep flow to the game, and then he can score goals, different variation of goals. He's the classic 10 player that normally wants to finish outside the box, but now he's getting more and more inside the box. And he also work hard, and I agree. I haven't seen that interview, but a lot of people have told me about it, that I should see it, where he came across very well, which I always like. That you have that. I try to install in my players. You have that confidence, and you have that good attitude where you're confident but humble. So yeah, he's a good player.
Just one final question from me. As I said, you face Spurs in the semi-final of the League Cup. It's Leicester tomorrow. Do you still have a sort of relationship with Dean Smith where you would call him up and pick his brains because he's preparing week in, week out to face these top sides? Would you call up the phone to him and say, have you got any thoughts?
No, I still have a very good relationship with Dean, and I spoke with him, I think it was maybe a week, 10 days ago. We had a long chat about everything, of course, a lot of football, but also about the families and everything else. So that's good to keep that up. But no, I haven't spoken to him about Leicester this time. We just do our own analysis for this one.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Thomas. Good to see you this afternoon. Can I just sort of ask you, in regards to, obviously this game comes again at a busy period. I know there were a couple of games that were off as a consequence of the COVID situation, but is this another opportunity? Is this another time where you have to utilise your full squad? Players are going to get a bit more extra game time that haven't played or won't play next week and didn't play midweek.
I think it's definitely an opportunity to win another game, and I think we showed over the last couple of seasons that we like to win football matches and we like to keep that momentum going, and that you would say winning mentality. I just like that top performance mentality. To get that going, to really want to win that game tomorrow. Of course, we also know that with the starting from Luton. Going forward, we are going to play 14 games on a bounce, with Saturday midweek. That means, of course, I will use the squad, but not like a full rotation. We'll put a strong team out there tomorrow, but of course, we will use the squad.
But as was proved last year when you took on Leicester at this stage of the Cup and pushed them very close, what you've achieved in the League Cup this season, you show a lot of faith in the players that you have, even if they have come into a starting lineup and weren't starting the previous game. You are a man who shows a lot of faith in the whole squad.
Yeah, it's very difficult to pick that starting 11, and sometimes you need to believe and trust into how can you say, maybe 8, 9, 10, 11 players for a lot of games in a row to try to create that gelling and that connection between the players, and then you need to take a decision on that. But of course, it's also about performance. But I trust all my players and I believe in all my players. And unfortunately, I can't give all of them game 90 minutes every week. But I 100% agree with you. I think it's a good thing what we have done in the League Cup. Where a lot of players stepped in and up and performed well. And we did the same last year against Leicester, where we more or less changed the whole team, and we performed extremely well against a top Premier League side. I'll not change the whole team for tomorrow, but I'm sure that we will perform well again.
This is the 6th game against the Premier League side of this season in various cup competitions. Is it almost a little bit wistful? Do you look at it and go, what could have been? Because, it's 4 wins out of 5 so far against Premier League outfits.
Yeah, of course, that's we're very pleased with that. And I would say, when you look backwards, as you said now, I can see 6 games, but we just look at the game ahead of us and try to do as good as possible and prepare as well as possible. And of course, we need to step our game up for the game tomorrow. So, we look forward to it.
Ivan Toney, but I mean, Marcus Forss, again, another opportunity for him to show what he can do as a front player, potentially. Yeah,
definitely. We have a big belief in Marcus. We also showed that with the extension of his contract to a very long-term deal. I have a strong belief in him. The club has a strong belief in Marcus, that he will be a top striker in the future. So it's really good. It will be a really good experience for him tomorrow.
Just finally from me, as you say, you don't want to focus on the game that is beyond this, but next midweek is another important game. I suppose they're all important, aren't they, Thomas? Really, whether it's an FA Cup game against a high-flying Premier League side or a chance to go second in the Championship.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I think the big thing, it sounds so simple and easy, but it isn't, is to do everything we can to maximize our focus on the next training and then the next game. And of course, I know we're playing Swansea Wednesday, and I also know we play Wickham the Saturday after. But there's no reason to think about it, because there's a big task ahead of me and ahead of us that we need to focus maximum on. And if I don't focus on the good training or recovery session one day, we never get to where we want to be when we need to perform again. So it is what we need to do, and make sure we top perform and put a maximum effort in tomorrow.